You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
Who gets selected, where they get selected, and why they get selected, the fans will never know. With so much movement around the front office, the instability of the franchise is once again the topic of conversation. Don't forget to keep an ear out for the Javon Holland giveaway. Follow us at Go Time Dolphins on all social media platforms, turn on notifications, and allow us to do the rest. Fins up, Fin fans. Now back to Charlie and Kadeem.
Charlie and I, I'm from the UK, Charlie's from the States. So as a black man in the UK, I celebrate, or the UK celebrates Black History Month in October. That's when Black History Month is for, people in the UK. If you're in the States, Black History Month is February. And I'm not going to say only the Dolphins because it's not just the Dolphins, but at the same time, only the Dolphins can start Black History Month with a former coach basically taking down the entire NFL. If you have been away the past 24 hours, I guess, there's been some potential future change. Future change isn't even the phrase I want to use, but there has been some massive news, bombshells, allegations against the teams inside the NFL, including the Dolphins, the Giants, and the Broncos. Brian Flores, who was fired from the Dolphins in January, has accused the Giants and Broncos, the Broncos in 2019, the Giants in 2022, of basically interviewing him for vacant head coaching positions which weren't vacant. Basically, Brian Flores was the token black man. He was the black man that was used to satisfy the league's Rooney Rule, which basically means that all teams, when hiring head coaches, must interview at least one person of color. I hate that term so much. Oh, it's awful. And that's what he's accused the Broncos and Giants of doing. And then when it comes to the Dolphins, he's accused Stephen Ross, the team owner, of offering to pay him $100,000 for each loss the team went or had in 2019. That was his first season in charge. That was the Tank for Tua season. And I want to get this right because I'm not looking to get fired. I'm not looking to get sued by anyone. I'm seeing a lot of people on social media basically reading things completely incorrectly, and if they were bigger entities in the world, I guess, no offense, but they would be getting sued. So he's basically accusing the Dolphins of firing him for not tanking and then defaming him, and these are the words of the lawsuit, defaming him throughout the media and the league as he was labelled by the Dolphins brass as someone who was difficult to work with. That's a very long intro, but Charlie.
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I am Charlie Touche. I got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me, as always, for the fans and by the fans. Wow. So I was gonna try to come out, a little lighthearted and crack a joke, from Dumb and Dumber, one of my favorite movies. But not right now. And I don't want to make it seem like it's all serious. It's all serious, but leave it to the Miami Dolphins to have potentially the biggest scandal in the National Football League history. Leave it to the Dolphins to not only y'all could have did this and got it right regardless of the scandal. Like this is just for the Dolphins. This is without going to the lawsuit and everything else. We could have been in the same place without the scandal. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go into for whoever doesn't know, I don't know where you've been. I don't know where you've been to where you tune in to Go Time Dolphins, and this is the first time you heard about this. So you know what? Let me say this. We had a whole show today. Hey, listen. We had a show today, and we're gonna move the show back. Who knows when that show is gonna come up? But Sherrod Steve was supposed to join us, and this news came out. I want to say maybe an hour and a half before Sherrod Steve was supposed to come on the show with us. So I want to be clear. I know Sherrod Steve is gonna hear this when it comes out. So I want to say shout out to my Dolphins brother, Sherrod Steve. This was an episode that we had to do, just me and Kadeem, because I don't want no one to feel uncomfortable on the episode. Everyone's going to feel some type of way about something. But for me and Kadeem to have to be have a platform now, because, we didn't have a platform before for a lot of things. But to have a platform now to discuss things like this, and it's not political, but it's something that actually needs to be addressed. For example, just going off the top of my head, Brian Flores got fired, and Twitter had a whole bunch of people, NFL racist. He got fired because he's black. This and that and this and that and this. I'll be real with you. I promise I go hard for the team. I really, really do. I go hard for the team, but the team don't mean nothing to me when it comes to real life. Like, let's be clear. This is entertainment. You know what I'm saying? I love my Dolphins. It's entertainment. It's football. You know what I'm saying? In no way, shape, or form would I ever put real life situations in front of football in front of real life situations. Let's be real. So there's a couple people, Dolphins fire Flores because he's black. It's not the case. All right. Yeah, this is my team. Yeah, I like the Dolphins, but let's be real. Jesse Davis started right tackle the whole season. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Prince, and I know Kadeem was supposed to bring this up. Isaiah Prince started right tackle for the Bengals in AFC Championship. Is that accurate, Kadeem?
Yeah.
Jermaine Illuminor started guard for the Raiders in the playoffs this season. The reason why I bring those two up is because we cut both of them. We let both of them go. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we have O-line trouble here in Miami. One was a 6th round pick. I can't remember where Jermaine Illuminor was drafted or if he was even drafted at all, but we let him go. And they're both performing for playoff teams, and one of those teams are going to the Super Bowl. That's not enough to get fired. But if you're going through 3 OCs, if you're going through 4 OCs and 3 O-line coaches, and you have the worst O-line in the league, and the offensive linemen that you're letting go are starting for a playoff team, and then another one starting for a Super Bowl team. Well, he might not start in Super Bowl, but he's starting the AFC Championship. Like, that is an indictment on you being a head coach. Let's get that out the way. You feel me? Let alone, I mean, bruh, we could go on. We could continue off of reports and speculations and stuff. But I wanted to address the football stuff. You know what I'm saying? Real quick before we get to the real stuff. Because the real stuff is real. It's never going to go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? But there's going to be people. Like, remind me of the tweet that you mentioned before we started recording, Kadeem.
So this is, you know what? I'm going to call this person out because I don't
No.
care. You don't think so?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you'll read the tweet and then it'll go out there anyway. Like,
Yeah.
but
So the tweet says, and you know what? There's a few tweets, and I've seen a few people tweet something similar. This is just one that popped up onto my timeline. So it's 3 tweets. The first one says, "Oh boy, Flores playing the moral high ground on Dolphins doesn't sit right. If you had issues, then quit, then expose. Not after you're fired. That looks like retaliation. These conversations happen behind the scenes all the time." His next tweet was, "Do we really think those texts are real? Something is so off." And that's about tweets with Bill Belichick. We'll get to those. And then the third and final tweet is, excuse my language. Hey Flores, eat a big fat dick. You literally cost us Brady or Burrow. I'm starting to think Ross/Greer wasn't the problem, and you're salty because you got fired.
was that for me to come back in?
I have no more to add to that. That's you told me to say the tweets. Listen, there's going to be people, and like I said, I've said it. People who have seen this news and are basically saying this is Flores being angry at the Dolphins for losing his job, and he's trying to take the organization down. He's trying to take Stephen Ross down, all that kind of stuff. I don't believe that, and I think this is bigger than Brian Flores. And again, I'll read and share his statement. Because I think it's, we're going to get into what exactly he's accused them of, but I just want to get his statement, and I don't want to. I have to cut this out.
While Kadeem is cutting stuff out and getting to other statements, I think he's going to try to pull it up.
Yeah.
Let me just note this to everybody else. Everyone is aware this name has come up this season. Chris Greer. Chris Greer is black. Just want to bring this to people's attention. If you didn't know, maybe you didn't know. A lot of people, color doesn't matter to me. All right, cool. We're not talking about really like race relations, but we're talking about race inside the NFL, and unfortunately landed on the Dolphins' doorstep. So we have to address it. We here now. Chris Greer, general manager, he's black. Marvin Allen, assistant to the general manager, he's black. Reggie McKenzie, another assistant to the general manager, he's also black. Reggie McKenzie came from the Raiders. Actually, he's actually pretty dope. I wouldn't even mind if he was the actual GM. But that's a conversation for another day. If you feel like the Dolphins just up and decided, we don't want Flores no more because of I don't know how someone mind gets to that. I'm not even going to pretend like I do know how they get to that. But you cannot say it was not warranted that he was let go. You can't. Because if when he went 1-7, everybody would have said, I get it. Everybody would have said it. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, Kadeem. You was about to come in with something.
Well, I was, but then I also think there was still surprise. There was still surprise among Dolphins fans, among media, among people in the NFL that Flores was fired, because he wasn't fired when the team were 1-7. He was fired at the end of the season when the team were 9-8. He had back-to-back winning seasons. Now, again, I'm pretty sure we said at the time that perhaps the decision was made at 1-7, but they wanted to wait until the end of the season, which doesn't really make much sense. Maybe they decided at 1-7 he was going to get fired. He basically saved his job by getting basically that Titans game where if you win, you got a better chance of making the playoffs. And then once they didn't make the playoffs, like, do you know what? Now it's officially, done. Then we're going to let you go. Perhaps if they lost that Ravens game, they would have fired him. No, Texans game. Texans when they snapped it. Whatever game they snapped the streak, perhaps they were going to fire him then had they lost. So to say that, I personally don't believe that. Oh, this is a mess. Let me read his statement before we continue. So now I finally got it. So many statements going around, it's difficult. So Phil Yates is sharing this. but this is the quote. Um, God has gifted me with a special talent to coach the game of football, but the need for change is bigger than my goals. In making the decision to file the class action complaint today, I understand that I may be risking coaching the game that I love and that has done so much for my family and me. My sincere hope is that by standing up against systematic racism in the NFL, others will join me to ensure that positive change is made for generations to come. And to me, the most powerful part of that statement is him saying, in making the decision to file the class action complaint today, I understand that it may be risking coaching the game that I love. Like he's not doing this to get back at the Dolphins. Like he's basically saying by doing this, I'm probably never going to get a job in the NFL. Do you know how mental that is? Like so many people have said, you know what, it's not worth it. I'd much rather just keep this to myself, keep coaching, and then when I retire, then do all of that because they can't get me no more. He's basically risking his entire job. People are making comparisons to Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick hasn't played a down in the NFL since the season the 49ers let him go. Colin Kaepernick, for those who don't know, knelt during the US national anthem in protest against basically racism in the United States, against racial inequality. And there's been times over the past few years when there have been quarterbacks who are worse than Colin Kaepernick, who have had NFL starting jobs. But this isn't about Kaepernick, this is about Brian Flores. So yeah, my point I was making was that to people who think that Brian Flores is retaliating because he got fired, no, not at all. He knows that this is much bigger than that.
So I want to be very, 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 very clear. I believe that there's racism in the NFL. 1,000,000%. That is not even like I hope I don't have to explain where, why, and how. I believe it 100%. I just don't believe the Brian Flores firing was racially incentivized. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Moving on. What does this mean, Kadeem? Because there are some allegations and reports about what happened in 2019 when Brian Flores took over the team. Allegedly, owner Stephen Ross offered Brian Flores $100,000 for every loss of the 2019 season, incentivized him to lose, basically. If that is true, Kadeem, Ross is out of here. The Clippers got Donald Sterling out the paint. Had a whole new NFL. I think the NBA took over the team for a little bit, and the NBA took over the team until the I forgot who's dude. I can't remember the new owner name. I forgot. But anyway, the new owner took over for the Clippers. If it is true, bro, that this actually happened, that you not that you did pay him to lose, but you offered him money to lose, you out of here, bro.
And I think that's what the Dolphins, when they eventually, defend this in court or whatever, that's what's going to hang on. Because again, I've seen people say incorrectly that, the Dolphins paid to lose. And I don't think, as far as what I'm reading, I don't think Flores has said that's happened.
No, so I don't think so. I think from what we're reading, and it sounds like it was a conversation. You see what I'm saying? Whether I gotta imagine you didn't take the money if you're gonna bring it up. You see what I'm saying?
And that's very true as well. So again, I'll read out what the lawsuit is alleging. Indeed, during the 2019 season, Miami's owner Stephen Ross told Mr. Flores that he would pay him $100,000 for every loss, and the team general manager Chris Greer told Mr. Flores that Steve was mad that Mr. Flores' success in winning games that year was compromising the team draft position. Now, I want to make this crystal clear. Dolphins fans. Don't pretend that you guys weren't angry when we were winning games towards the end of the season.
Don't pretend.
we were on this podcast, and you remember how we spoke about Flores winning those games at the end of the season was vital to building a winning culture.
Culture.
Guys like Brandon Jones would not have Brandon Jones. Byron Jones would not have wanted to join the team had we gone 0-16.
Nope.
You
Nope.
you probably have to pay them extra money, but all of us players do not want to go 0-16. Players do not want to lose NFL games. Players aren't putting their body on the line every single day, every single snap to basically lose games. Are you mad? Not at all. So you're telling me, yeah, that Brian, because again, Brian Flores goes 0-16. He's tarred with that for life. Look at Hugh Jackson. Where's Hugh Jackson now? It doesn't matter if you turn it around. It doesn't matter. Do you really think, yeah, that Brian Flores goes 0-16, the Dolphins draft Joe Burrow, yeah, and then Brian Flores has a bad start to the season, like he did, and Steve Ross are going to go, do you know what? Because you tanked for me, I'm going to keep you. No, he's gone. And then once he's gone, everyone's going to go, you're Brian Flores. You're the guy that went 0-16. Not at all. Not at all. So, again, this allegation, Brian Flores is claiming, and again, I'll read it word for word, that Stephen Ross told Mr. Flores that he would pay him $100,000 for every loss.
And what I'm saying, and what I'm saying is, if that allegation is turns out to be true in a court of law, not a court of public opinion, in the court of law where they do the investigation, where they find evidence, and there is beyond reasonable doubt that this happened, there's not going to be a front office, Kadeem. Bro, the NFL might take over the team for like the season until something else has to happen. I don't even know the process of buying the team, but I got to believe we're going to cost more than the Broncos. We're going to be worth more than the Broncos. When the Broncos about estimated $4 billion, I got to believe we're going to be estimated more than $4 billion, right?
Hasn't Stephen Ross already got his successor in place?
Yeah, but I wonder what that means, though, if they kick you out, if the league kicks you out.
That's true.
Maybe if your successor is from the Ross tree and the NFL is like, bro, you just cost us the biggest scandal in the history of the past 100 years, right? Maybe we don't want your successor to be from the same root. We're going to go to the roots and pluck everything out the ground. You see what I'm saying?
And very quickly, because people aren't going to like this episode. I couldn't care less. People be like, oh, well, you're wearing a Dolphins jersey, blah, blah, blah. Do you remember I said to you after the Javon Holland interview where I was like, I'm pretty sure I was missing a Dolphin jersey of a player who had left. I couldn't remember who it was.
Yeah.
Kenny Stills. I have a Kenny Stills jersey. And the reason I'm wearing a Kenny Stills jersey, because Kenny Stills was also one of the first players to kneel on the sideline. Now, call me whatever you want in the comments. I could not care less. But me wearing a Kenny Stills jersey today is because I can. And because Kenny still stands up for something I truly believe in. Listen, honestly, we had conversations about what would we do if the Dolphins traded for Deshaun Watson. And I was like, I'm not quite sure if I could support the team anymore. If it had come out that the Dolphins hadn't hired Brian Flores, had hired someone else, and the Dolphins were one of the teams named basically that interview Brian Flores as a token gesture for the Rooney Rule. Yeah, I'm done. You think I'm supporting a team under this ownership that treats black people like that? No, are you stupid? No. So, no. Listen, more stuff could come out. And me and you would have a conversation if I'm like, you know what, I'm done with the Dolphins under Stephen Ross. And again, so that's not to say that the allegations against him, I'm like, oh yeah, Stephen Ross, I love that. Like, I'm not saying that at all. So you got to
no. I was gonna. No, you were good. So if you could get the
yeah, of course,
the yacht meeting set up. Don't put it up yet. We'll get there. We making progress. And while Kadeem is doing this, I want to say something that Kadeem didn't know I was going to say on this podcast. Once upon a time, in our first season of Go Time Dolphins, me and Kadeem had a speed bump that we had to get over. and we never talked about it on the podcast. We won't really talk about it on the podcast, but you're gonna learn about who me and Kadeem really are in this moment right here. We had a speed bump and a hurdle we had to get over on this podcast, and me and Kadeem had a fire drill. Like, yo, what do we do? This is a true story. What do we do? And me and Kadeem, being only friends for 2 years from across the pond, it's not like we see each other every day, every week. You know what I'm saying? Not like we talk to each other all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to learn a lot about Kadeem, and Kadeem is about to learn a lot about me in this moment. Adversity hits, fortitude kicks in, and we have to figure out what are we gonna do in this moment. And Kadeem said, you know what? This is what we're gonna do. And he offered a suggestion. And I agree with the suggestion. We came to a resolution, and we moved forward in this difficult moment and speed bump we had to get over. And in that moment, I learned a lot about Kadeem. I'm like, yo, Kadeem, you my dog now. Like, this is all jokes aside. Yo, Kadeem, you 12K. Nah. You my dog, right? And I told Kadeem over the phone, all right, bro, I'm gonna let you know something, Kadeem. I'm gonna share it with all the listeners right now. This is a true story. I told Kadeem, hey, bro, this is the first year of the podcast. And I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna be real with you. If you take an L, then we take an L. And if you winning, then we winning. Same thing goes for me. If I'm winning, then you winning. You feel me? The reason why I'm telling y'all this is because if Kadeem chooses he wants to say something or do something on this podcast that I may not necessarily agree with, I'm not gonna muzzle Kadeem. Yo, this is his podcast too. He has a platform to say what he wants to say and do what he wants to do. So if it came to a divisive topic like Deshaun Watson, bro, I would support my dog Kadeem no matter what he had to say on this platform. He could say something egregious on this platform about Deshaun Watson, although I might not agree with it. We'll converse, later. But if he wanted to use this platform to say it, cool, he could say it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell him not to say anything. So we may not agree with everything, but you still my dog, Kadeem. And I got to say that on the platform and not over the phone, so everybody really knows you my dog. Back to business. Sherrod, Steve, you my dog too. You know what I'm saying? LB, Burt, 5 Yard Lead, y'all boys, fabric of the other podcast. Let's go to the next one, Kadeem.
Yeah.
So Kadeem's gonna pull up a I'm about to say a slide, like I'm in high school. So more of the allegations and what's coming out. Oh, this is some good stuff. I hope y'all tucked in, man. I hope y'all tucked in. What else we got?
So, and again, I'm reading it word for word from this lawsuit, which is easy to find online, by the way. After the end of the 2019 season, Mr. Ross began to pressure Mr. Flores to recruit a prominent quarterback in violation of league tampering rules. Mr. Flores repeatedly refused to comply with these improper directives. Undeterred, in the winter of 2020, Mr. Ross invited Mr. Flores onto a yacht for lunch. Shortly after he arrived, Mr. Ross told Mr. Flores that the prominent quarterback was conveniently arriving at the marina. Obviously, Mr. Ross had attempted to set up a purportedly impromptu meeting between Mr. Flores and a prominent quarterback. Mr. Flores refused the meeting and left the yacht immediately. After the incident, Mr. Flores was treated with disdain and held out as someone who was non-compliant and difficult to work with.
I couldn't. And I just, you read kind of fast. Your sister reads very fast. Y'all, as you said before, you come from a family of fast readers, right? So I just want clarification. Did you just basically lay out Ross had a meeting with Brian Flores? Is that accurate?
Yeah. So I will explain it in non-legal terms, but not in a way that I'm going to basically get sued.
Right. And also, don't mention the quarterback's name because we're not there yet.
So what's basically happened is, and I will use the exact example that I used with Charlie when I was going through this, because Charlie was like, "Hold on, start again." Me and
Hold
Charlie
on,
are
hold
boys.
on, hold on, hold on. Not because I couldn't comprehend it, but because I was preoccupied when you read it.
Oh yeah,
Let's be
yeah,
clear. All right, go ahead,
yeah.
go ahead, go ahead.
So in this situation, I am Stephen Ross. Charlie is Brian Flores. I say to Charlie, "Yo, Charlie, I know a girl. I think the girl is perfect for you, but she's got a boyfriend. She's not available. But I can sort something out." And Charlie's like, "Do you know what? I'm good, thank you. She's not available. Not gonna go down that road. All good." And I'm like, "Cool, Charlie, fair enough." I call Charlie. Charlie, I'm at a bar. Come meet me at a bar. We can have a few pints, some fish and chips. Charlie's like, "Cool. Lunch is on you. Perfect." Charlie gets to the bar. We're chopping it up, but chatting, blah, blah, blah. I turn around to Charlie. "Oh, by the way, Charlie, that girl was in the area. Wouldn't you like to meet her? She just happens to be in the area." And Charlie looks at me. "I wasn't born yesterday. I'm not stupid. You're telling me that of all the places in the world this girl could be right now, she happens to be in the exact spot where me and you are. No, thank you." And Charlie leaves. That's basically what happened. Ross set up a meeting with Flores. After Flores told him, "I don't want that quarterback because he's not available via the proper channels," Ross said, "Okay," invited him onto his yacht, his big luxury boat, and that quarterback happened to be in the area, and Flores said, "No, thank you, I'm leaving."
So for clarification, this is 2019, right?
2019.
We got to get the dates right because everybody's gonna have. Oh, that was Deshaun Watson.
No, sorry. To the end of 2019 season, the winter of 2020.
Cool. Winter of 2020.
Yeah.
All right, we got it. Winter of 2020. Was it Deshaun Watson, Kadeem? What are the sources saying? Hey, y'all know how I feel about sources. If y'all don't know how I feel about sources, we will retweet it. Matter of fact, I'm going to retweet it right now during this episode, and y'all can go to my timeline at Charlie_Touche on Twitter and see what I say about sources. But what are the sources saying? Who was this quarterback, Kadeem, at the end of the 2020 season? Oh, no, it's end of the 2019 season, before the 2020 season.
Yeah. So if you bear with me 2 seconds, I am going to pull up a tweet of someone with more knowledge and information than I do in the NFL.
So Kadeem,
And not
y'all don't
because
see how Kadeem covering his tracks. Y'all don't see
100%,
my
yeah.
dog.
Listen, shout out to Chris Adams. I was on his show the other night, and someone in his comments tried to tell me that I don't know anything about the NFL. Okay, cool, fair enough. Thank you very much. And just
Don't you write for a living, Kadeem?
I
About
do
the
write for a
NFL?
living. I write about football, cricket, the NFL. But what do I know? So I have the tweet ready. I am not, like I said, I'm not looking to get. No, I don't care. I do what I do. I'm me. This is from Ian Rappaport, known NFL insider. On the Brian Flores lawsuit alleging racial discrimination, the alleged unauthorized pursuit of Tom Brady. Not Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady. That is who the Dolphins were allegedly. So that was, and again, I want to get my words correct 100%. According to Brian Flores, in the winter of 2020, the Dolphins, or Stephen Ross, not the Dolphins, Stephen Ross was set up a meeting to try and recruit Tom Brady to the Dolphins. This was when Tom Brady's contract was about to run out in New England. And Brady came up through. Brady played his college football at Michigan, which is the alma mater of Stephen Ross. And what has been alleged, even though Brady was not named in this lawsuit, this is what other people are alleging, that the Dolphins, again, stop saying Dolphins, Kadeem, that Stephen Ross were trying to recruit Tom Brady to join the Dolphins.
Woo! Hey, didn't I say get buckled in? I'm just saying. So Adam Beasley on Twitter Adam H. Beasley. I'm going to follow Kadeem's footsteps. The rumor in Miami has long been that Brady would have picked the Dolphins over the Buccaneers, if not for Brian Flores being the Dolphins coach. This could help explain why. Going back to your tweet, Kadeem, of dude who went out the mouth sideways and said Brian Flores cost us Joe Burrow and Tom Brady, right?
Yeah.
What y'all think that team would have looked like? Let's indulge a little bit. First of all, Kadeem, would you have wanted Tom Brady at the beginning of the 2020 season? Pre-draft, 2020 draft. And now we're talking, we finally get to football, y'all. No more, it's not even politics. This is legit going on. No lawsuits. Let's just talk football real quick. 30 minutes into the episode. Kadeem, 2020 offseason, the draft of Joe Burrow and Tua Tagovailoa and Justin Herbert. Tom Brady was parading around talking about, you want that MFer? Y'all remember that? You know what I'm saying? Speculation was he was talking about either Derek Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo. A year later, it's coming out that was Jimmy Garoppolo that he was talking about. Brady looking for a team, basically. And the Bucs, Bruce Arians, had just moved on from Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston said, Bruce Arians said, we could win, we could do it this quarterback, we could do another quarterback. Like, yeah, that was the funniest thing. That was the funniest line to me that was the offseason. But so Tom Brady basically going to jobs like, hey, I'm available. And jobs are like, yo, we're not hiring. What do you mean? You're not available, right? So when you get to this instance of the lawsuit or the allegations, you get it to where Brian Flores is alleging that Stephen Ross wanted to set up this meeting with Tom Brady, Brian Flores, and himself. On a yacht. Hey, yeah, man, you remember that quarterback I was telling you about? He down the street. It's cool. Come on a yacht. You know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no bugs on a yacht. You feel me? We could talk. Real talk. So me and Kadeem are going to play it back because this is what we like to do. That's not what I like to do, but this is what Dolphin Twitter like to do. 2020 offseason, Kadeem. Free agency. Draft didn't get here yet. Brady says he wants to come to the Dolphins. What are you doing?
You can't turn down Brady, can you? I probably... Oh, that team was bad. I'm trying to think. Cap space isn't quite there yet, but you've got 3 first-round picks.
3 first-round picks.
5, 18, and 26.
5 picks in the top 2 rounds.
I take Brady.
Again,
I take Brady. And again, with ice cream sundae analogy, but you're doing it backwards. So hear me out.
You put the cherry in the sundae before the ice cream was in it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
But you also
and the cherry is not even a ripe cherry either. It's like it's getting kind of soft.
It is, but
cherry
it's also. So you got Brady. Okay, So you got Brady at the quarterback. Yeah.
You want me to come back to you?
No. I'm just
double
checking something. So Brady's the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get my years right. So I've brought in Brady.
Brought in Brady.
I don't know what are we doing for the agency that year?
Was that not the Brian? That was the Byron Jones free agency.
Okay, yeah. So oh god, yeah. So got my corner. Got Ogba, got Lawson.
Mm-hmm.
Just brought in Brady.
Yep.
And then at pick 5, we take Tua. But what you can do at pick 5, and it's something that we said, but you probably wouldn't have, you can take an Isaiah Simmons. Now, I'm not taking Isaiah Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you go, okay, I'm taking Tristan Wirfs.
Oh, you getting a lineman?
Dude, I've just got Tom Brady. let's not okay.
Oh no,
Um,
I was just asking.
no. I'm saying,
Go ahead.
I'm not I'm not getting Tom Brady, yeah, and having Jesse Davis at his point as a left tackle, dude. Even though Brady will make the line look better because he's elite and make everyone look better, I'm not trying to kill Brady. I'm not trying to kill Brady at 42. Okay, I'm not.
That's
I'm,
funny how you invest in a quarterback and you went straight to a top of the line lineman. I'm just saying some people don't do that, but go ahead, continue. This is your hypothetical. Go ahead.
So, and this is even like trading back. So at 5, I'm taking Tristan Wirfs. At 18, and obviously things start moving around, all that kind of stuff. But I'd probably double dip and take Cesar Ruiz. So I've got myself another lineman. And then at 26, I guess you could take Jonathan Taylor, but you could wait. Do you take a T. Higgins? Put it this way. I'm leaving that first round with two offensive linemen because I've just taken Tom Brady.
I appreciate that because realistically, I gotta imagine whoever says they were gonna take Brady in free agency for the Dolphins, I gotta imagine they're gonna go O-line twice in the draft because we still did not have a good O-line. We still haven't had a good O-line. So anyone who's gonna say, "Oh yeah, I would have picked Justin Jefferson," you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, I would took Justin Jefferson. Come on, get out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? First of all, everybody, the consensus was Jamar Chase was better than Justin Jefferson anyway. So nobody was really on Justin Jefferson except for this dude on this Go Time Dolphins podcast named Charlie Touche. Whoever.
Don't forget, Jamar Chase is the year after.
Right. Oh, for sure. I know that. That's why no one was on Justin Jefferson. They're like, oh, he's not the good receiver. The good receiver comes out next year. But Charlie Touche was saying, no, this receiver is better than the receivers coming out next year. Turns out it's pretty close. I'm still taking Justin Jefferson over Jamar Chase. Let's get back to it. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to say this is Henry Ruggs. Look at that turned out. Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, we good. We good.
Yeah.
We're done. It's my turn. It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm Charlie Touche. I got Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans, about the fans. We talking Dolphins football, kind of.
the end of Stephen Ross in Miami. That's what we're talking right now.
Kind of. We're kind of talking Dolphins football. I asked Kadeem what would he have done if he was faced with the actual choice of having Tom Brady on your team or not. I asked this to a lot of people before though, Kadeem. And when it was happening, I asked people about this. And I'm going to ask these same people now. And I'm going to see what they're going to say now. And I know y'all know. And I remember who said what. So I need to hear, hey, I can't wait to ask some of these people. And if I ask you, I'm not saying that you're going to give me a different answer. I'm just going to see if your answer was the same. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to ask everybody I know that I asked that question before. But I'm going to answer the question for myself. And it's very similar to how I answered it 2 years ago. I can absolutely not take Tom Brady ever as a Miami Dolphin. I can't do it, bro. It's not in me. I cannot watch him in a Dolphins jersey, bro. It's not gonna happen, right? And there was a rumor that he wanted to own part of the Dolphins, and I can't do that either. You know what I'm saying? Because I owned the Dolphins my whole career. Now I own them in real life. Nah, bro. I don't want Tom Brady as an owner either. I cannot do anything with Tom Brady. And matter of fact, I don't know how many times I actually said his name on this podcast, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do not want Tom Brady as my quarterback.
You told Javon Holland he couldn't say the name of the podcast.
Yeah, but my bad.
And you are.
We had to get it out. I need to be clear. Nah, bro. He's not coming. I would not take. I don't care. Bro. And just put my Dolphins stuff aside. Dolphin hat off. You know what I'm saying? Take the Dolphin hat off. Let's just talk like football. Let's football 101. Let's talk. I just took for everybody not watching on YouTube, y'all just heard the audio version. Y'all might have heard some wrestling. I just took my Dolphin hat off, and I might have hit the mic, but Dolphin hat off, and let's just talk football. I still wouldn't take Tom Brady. Hold on, we're gonna get to you, Kadeem. I still wouldn't take Tom Brady as a Miami Dolphin because we weren't ready to win. We weren't ready. That's not how you build a team.
So Joe Shad has tweeted that Brian Flores admires and respects Tom Brady, but didn't want to tamper, and also didn't think it was the right time to recruit Brady, considering the status of the Dolphins rebuild.
That's not how you do it.
And that's fair. Very quickly, the reason I made that face is because Brian Flores, the former coach of the Miami Dolphins, will be joining us live and us as CBS Mornings in studio tomorrow, only on CBS Mornings, with his attorneys, Doug Wigdor and John Elterfikis, about his race discrimination lawsuit. CBS, 7 a.m., Brian Flores. I don't have CBS in London. I'll find a way to get CBS 7 a.m., which is midday my time, because that is going to be a very, very, very interesting interview.
I wish we could have got him on Go Time Dolphins for that. Man, you think we would have been in there, bro? We would have been in there.
Do you know what? Two black guys talking Dolphins. Maybe.
That's wild.
I'll be like, Brian, I've got you in London. Can you do me a little favor?
All right, let's move forward.
Cool. So
go ahead. My bad. Go ahead. I didn't know you was ready.
No, there's still one more, I guess, accusation against the Dolphins. And it says, so this is after he has basically not tanked and not taken a meeting with the prominent quarterback who hasn't been named in this lawsuit. It says, from that point forward, Mr. Flores was ostracized and ultimately he was fired. He was subsequently defamed throughout the media and the league as he was labeled by the Dolphins brass as someone who was difficult to work with. This is reflective of an all too familiar angry black man stigma that is often casted upon black men who are strong in their morals and convictions, while white men are coined as passionate for those very same attributes. So that's basically Brian Flores, again, alleging, claiming that after he was fired by the Dolphins, using the words that he used, he was ostracized and basically defamed through the media. And that basically comes down to all these stories after Flores was fired about how, he didn't speak to coaches or didn't speak to staff basically second half of the season. He was, that's why no one wanted to work with him because he was difficult to get along with, all this kind of stuff. According to Flores, that was, I'm not going to say it was Dolphins because he never said the Dolphins. He says he was subsequently defamed throughout the media and the league, but doesn't. Oh, no, he does say by the Dolphins brass as someone who's difficult to work with. So he's accused the Dolphins of saying, or basically making up lies.
Woo! All right, we back again. Let's talk some more football. Kadeem, what does this mean for the Miami Dolphins today? Do we get a head coach this week? Is there a head coach that's going to say, oh, yeah, I like that Dolphin situation. Let's go. Head first. I don't know who the owner is going to be next year. If Ross is going to be the owner. I don't even know if the Ross is going to be the owner at the beginning of the season. What happens?
So as we talk about that, I want to talk about I want to go through the Dolphin statement.
Knock yourself out. We get back to that. Go ahead. We get back to
what, sorry?
About what we're gonna do about head coach.
Oh, well, that's why I want to bring up the statement, because so the Dolphins say we are aware of the lawsuits through the media came this afternoon. We vehemently deny any allegations of racial discrimination and are proud of the diversity and inclusion throughout our organization. The implication that we acted in a manner inconsistent with the integrity of the game is incorrect. We will be withholding further comment on the lawsuit at this time. it mentions nothing about the allegations of basically paying Flores for losses. And I found that interesting because when I first was going through what the Dolphins were being accused of, at no point did I think racism, if that makes sense. Now, I
Mhm.
understand that Flores, in his final point, which mentioned the Dolphins, says that the Dolphins labeled him as someone who's difficult to work with, and that in turn, it's reflective of an all too familiar angry black man. I 100% understand where he's coming from. Fully get that. But maybe it was naive of me to read what he was saying and not think that. Um, I thought the Dolphins would have come out and said, at no point did we offer Brian Flores money to lose or to tank or anything like that. Instead, the Dolphins were like, we aren't racist. And I don't know if that's because I guess it's harder to bounce back from being accused and I guess found guilty of being racist than it is of paying your head coach a tank. And I say that because, like I said before, Dolphins fans
Hold on,
were
bring that back up.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Dolphins fans were fuming with Brian Flores and the team for winning games. Let's not pretend that that wasn't the case. So I don't know if it's a case or a matter of if you're the head coach and you need a quarterback, and there is a Joe Burrow coming up, yeah. If
Mhm.
you are happy, or not happy, but you are willing to take more L's, um, I'm not saying you're being paid to do this. I'm saying as a I'm the head coach of the London Pigeons. That's the furthest Pigeons are in London. You know, I'm a
Mhm.
head coach of the London Pigeons, and I'm like, I really want that kid, Share Wise Steve kid. I really want Share Wise Steve kid to be my quarterback, but I'm gonna need to lose some games to do it. I'm going to make some dumb coaching decisions, like just before half, call a cover blitz zero and lose. I was playing aggressive. We lost. I don't know if the Dolphins believe that it's easier to bounce back from that, to bounce back from tanking than it is to bounce back from racial for being racist.
All right. I want to say this, and it was so much I wanted to talk about on this podcast, and I really wanted to open up with this. This is what I actually wanted to open up with, and I wanted to say this. We got friends that listen to this podcast. We have fans that listen to this podcast. We have uh who knows what else listens to this podcast. All right. I have this. I make music. Everyone knows I make music. And I have a song called Let's Have the Conversation. It's not out yet. It'll come out one day. But it's called Let's Have the Conversation. And everyone knows what the country is built on here in the United States. You know, it's built on slavery. You know what I'm saying? We ain't got to hide nothing. It is what it is. That's why it's so, some people are uncomfortable when it comes to having conversations like that. And I want to be very clear. I am always open to have uncomfortable conversations with anyone who wants to have those conversations, whether you're a friend or a foe, although I don't know that I have foes. If you're a friend and you want to have uncomfortable conversations with me, I'm all for it. If you one of my black friends and we disagree and you want to have an uncomfortable conversation, I'm all for it. If you one of my white friends and you want to just, help me understand this part and that part and this part and that part, I'm all for it. Even if you're one of my white friends, you say, hey, I disagree with all this stuff that's going on. Help me understand why you guys think like this. Let's do it. Let's talk. That's the only way we're going to get there. That's the only way we're going to have conversations or progress. All right. Or at least try to have understanding. That being said, there's some uncomfortable conversations that need to be had. All right. Like Cully in Houston. That's racist, bro. Like, it's racist. You have a black quarterback coach, who everyone knew he wasn't going to succeed. We'll give it to him anyway, and we'll offer him the next year. We won't uproot someone who has real potential in the league and mess up their career forever. It just didn't sit well with me. All right. You feel me? So it's things like that. It's like Chris Rock said it pretty good. We're not going to go in what Chris Rock said. You know what I'm saying? But there is racism in the NFL, in my opinion. As far as what you were saying, Kadeem, and I want to reiterate, I don't believe the firing of Brian Flores was racist at all. Let me be clear. And I'm again say there is racism in the NFL. Also want to be clear. But as far as what you were saying, Kadeem, about we didn't offer to pay for tanking and everything you said. I think this line here kind of does address it. The implication that we acted in a manner inconsistent with the integrity of the game is incorrect. So I think that addresses it, but I don't know. These are some pretty serious allegations. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty serious. Now, what I wanted to talk about, Kadeem, unless you got something more here that you want to entertain here on that.
Not really, no.
What's funny to me is, Kadeem, in 2019, the Dolphins were supposed to be historically the worst team in the world in the history of the NFL. This is you guys y'all about to stink it up. It's about to be bad. There's nobody on your team. You're about to go 0-16. Y'all gonna be the worst team ever. And in a way, we still was the worst team ever, but we had 5 wins. Why would an owner want to stink up the joint so bad, Kadeem? Can you help me understand that? Why we would want to stink up the joint so bad?
Probably because he looked into his crystal ball or his bald head and saw that within 2 years, Joe Burrow will be playing in the Super Bowl.
Well, that's fair. But to be honest with you, Joe Burrow wasn't the consensus number one the next season. The consensus number one was Tua Tagovailoa. Joe Burrow hadn't even performed well yet.
And
go ahead.
Sorry, no, I was going to say, yeah.
So Joe Burrow wasn't the person that everyone was tanking for yet. Joe Burrow hadn't put on yet. So that's why you got the tag tank for Tua. Tua Tagovailoa was supposed to be the next best thing. Like, hey, we need a quarterback. This is the quarterback we're going to get. This is the quarterback we want. What happened? Tua got hurt, didn't finish his last season in college. Joe Burrow outperformed, became the number one overall. So technically, all of this was supposed to be for Tua. Let's be very clear.
And just to add, anyone said that it's for Justin Herbert? Not at all. Because Justin Herbert coming out of Oregon was like, he's got the physical, like he looks like the NFL prototype quarterback, but he's not it. And I'm still a firm believer. Had Tua not got injured,
he would have been first overall.
If not first overall, there would have been a legit conversation. It would have been a coming out of college situation of a Goff v. Wentz, Winston v. Mariota.
Sure, but I was talking about because Burrow didn't have that year yet. Burrow had the season, and then he became the number one overall. At that time, Burrow wasn't even a thought yet. It was only Herbert and Tua still. There was no Joe Burrow in the conversation. He had that championship season, and then it elevated him to the first pick overall. So that's what I'm saying. Now,
and it's funny as well because prior to the news breaking, so this is after the Bengals had beaten the Chiefs, there were Dolphins beat writers who were going, the Dolphins messed up. The Dolphins messed around and won 5 games and, basically ran out of or ruined the chance of getting Joe Burrow. Mm-hmm. But at the time when the Dolphins were winning games, well done, Dolphins. You're doing the right thing because you don't want to go 0-16. It's you can't have it both ways. So
bro, I'm not losing on purpose, bro. I don't care.
Yeah. So again, so to everyone who was angry at the time that the Dolphins were winning, but then was kind of okay with it, but then now that Burrow is winning and that Brian, again, it's too confusing. You guys flip flop. Me and you probably have a conversation at some point on the show about TD. Is it TD Finns talk?
Oh,
but
TD, we invoke the name TD Finns talk.
I'm invoking the name because there's a bunch of Dolphins fans that flip flop more than TD Finns talk. Mate,
hey,
guys,
there's some people that call them TD Fraud Talk.
and that's possible. And again, there's nothing wrong. I'm now going to contradict myself and flip flop myself. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind down the line. If you say, you know what, actually, looking at things, I used to think this, I now think this. You know, I used to think that Tua was the best quarterback. Haven't seen, I now think it's that. That's fine. But don't pretend that what you said at first wasn't what you said. Don't be like, oh, it's an outrage. Like, big man, I've got the receipts. You haven't deleted your tweets yet. They're still there. I can scroll back to 2 years ago when you said X, Y, and Z. So, yeah, I know I said you can change your mind. You can change your mind, but again, like, some people will acknowledge what they said and said, you know what, I thought this. Over time, with more research, I now think this. Show me you're working out. We've got an exam. 10 points for the question. What's the answer? Show me you're working out. How did you get from point A to point B?
Yo,
that's what I'm saying.
When more information presents itself, you can change your analysis accordingly.
Of course, yeah.
Listen, I need you to close this out because I need a bigger picture when I say this. Since we brought up TD Fence Talk, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to tell you that I was born and raised in Miami, Florida, across the street from Joe Robbie Stadium, and I am a diehard Dolphins fan. Let me be very clear. I was a Dolphin fan when we went 1-15, and I'll be a Dolphin fan when we go 15-1, 16-1 now that there's a new game. I'm telling you now, yeah, and like my dog Kadeem Simmons would have said, you will not get no fraud talk from Go Time Dolphins. That is all I'm saying. Charlie Touche, at least. I spoke for Kadeem Simmons. I was wrong for that. But I don't think you'll get no fraud talk from him either. But I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I got for that. Go ahead, Kadeem. Would you want to go somewhere else?
I just think this. So you asked me what the Dolphins do at head coach next.
What are we doing? Is there a head coach that wants to come? If you're Mike McDaniel, right now, you have the comfort of offensive coordinator and one of the hottest names in football, and you were one game away from the Super Bowl again. You want to go to the Miami Dolphins right now, or you want to stay in the comfort of the NFC runner-up?
Especially who have announced that they're basically going to trade Jimmy G and probably going to Trey Lance. Like, again, if you can get something out of Trey Lance next season, people will be like, they're going to love you even more.
That goes for more than Mike McDaniel too. This is for who? What we doing?
Yeah.
All the head coaches.
Dan Marino best call up his best friend, Doug Peterson, and say, listen, do me a solid. Like, I think at this point, the wise decision might be to hire an experienced head coach who can deal with this, but experience, non-experience.
But why would an experienced head coach want to come here, Kadeem? Why would any coach, forget if you're the hottest thing, forget if you're an experienced head coach, you could be Caldwell. Let's be real. I'm going to just say 4 coaches. Why would McDaniel? Why would Caldwell? Why would Harbaugh? Or why would Doug Peterson want to come to the Miami Dolphins today, knowing that the whole organization is in flux? And there is a legitimate chance, without comedic relief in this next statement, that Stephen Ross might not even be the owner by September. There's a legitimate chance that that's a possibility. Why would you want to come coach the Miami Dolphins right now?
I think because, and again, so in this scenario, okay, say the Dolphins hire Mike McDaniel on Friday, yeah?
Yep.
They hire Mike McDaniel. In 2 months' time, Stephen Ross has been suspended by the NFL and has been forced to sell the team, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Mike McDaniel goes through the season. His record does not matter, yeah? Doesn't matter.
Okay.
New guy comes in and says, Mike McDaniel, thanks, but I didn't pick you. I'm going to bring my own person. For Mike McDaniel, he's done nothing wrong. Everyone's going to say, do you know what, Mike? There's nothing you can do about that. In that situation, it's a win-win in terms of he now has the NFL experience to get him over those people who were like, he's got an experience, you can't hire him. But he lost his job, not because he was bad at his job, but because the new guy wants to bring in someone else. And that happens. So all of a sudden, he's got a year's experience as an NFL coach. He has been paid off he got more money in his account. It doesn't matter, but he's got more money. And when he goes to his next job, everyone's going to say, you're not sitting here because you've done so badly in Miami, they fired you. You're sitting here because the new guy actually wants to bring his own person. So I think that's why A. McDaniel might take the job, or anyone might take the job. It's also a matter of do you back yourself to get through the team in this trying time? So you say, you know what? It's not a sinking ship, but it's a team in which there's going to be a lot of upheaval, both on and off the field. I back myself to steady the ship and to get through it. And if you get through it, if you win the AFC East, same way the Raiders interim head coach this year got the Raiders to the playoffs when everything was falling apart.
Right.
Everyone looks at him and goes, you know what? This is a good guy. This is a guy who, no matter what's going on outside the building,
he's getting interviewed in Jacksonville.
Yeah. And it's because he's shown that he could coach through adversity. So that, and again, not saying it's right or wrong in terms of why someone should take the Dolphins job, but it's because if you can coach in what's going on right now, where you have no idea if you're only going to get suspended, you know, whether you're going to get your first round draft pick taken away from you, whether players in the building say, I ain't staying here. I'm not staying apart. Listen, people.
Bro, if we get our first round draft pick taken from us, Kadeem, like you just hit me in a soft spot, bro. Like, bro, you just did something to me just now, dog. I can't live with that, bro.
People are making jokes that Chris Greer saw this coming, which is why I traded away our pick and kept the 49ers pick, because the 49ers pick is going to be so deep that if you lose your first round pick, it's basically, I'm like, no, like, now's not the time for jokes, people. Like, this is a serious matter. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know who the next head coach is going to be. I assume the Dolphins are going to say it's business as normal. They're innocent until proven guilty, and the chances are the biggest thing going against them is going to be that the owner offered money to lose games. That's
significant. That's significant.
Oh no, it's significant. But when other teams are getting through Deflategate, Bountygate, and all that kind of stuff.
How about this? Tom Brady was on the fence about retiring. This thing hit the win, and he like, hey, I'm out of here. That boy said, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I don't want no questions about what I was doing in the offseason of 2020. Like, hey, I'm out. I'm retiring. Like, don't ask me no questions. You feel me? Man. So how about this, Kadeem? I'm going to respond to what you said about the coach, right? And I understand what you're saying. It's an opportunity to play with house money. It's basically what you said. I could play with the house money. Like, yo, I could come, and if I do real good, it looks real good. Look what I did in 1 year with the Dolphins. That was in disarray, right? And if I come and I don't succeed, I gotta be like, hey, it's the Dolphins. No one succeeds there. That's basically what you said, and I'm buying it. I'm buying all of it. Now, what I'm saying is like, but if you are Mike McDaniel, maybe if you're Doug Peterson, you might be more inclined to do something like that. But if you are Mike McDaniel, and I'll get back to Doug Peterson, if you are Mike McDaniel and this is your first gig, and you're coming up with your homies and you're saying, hey, we're here. This is our turn. It's our time. Come coach with me in Miami. And I don't know how long it's going to last. Do you really want to uproot your friends and your family to a temporary situation like that may be temporary? Like, yo, these boys, you got friends that work for the Lions. You got friends that work for the Rams. You got friends that work in Buffalo that you about to say, hey, I need you to be part of my staff. You know what I'm saying? You're about to be, second assistant to the linebackers, but I need you to be my DC or my DB coach or my run game personnel, whatever the case may be. You really want to uproot all those people, all of those assistants, because you want to go to the Dolphins and you might only be there a year. So I don't know if you really take that job. Do you really want to take that job? If you might be there, you OC for the NFC runner-up, bro. I don't know if you do that.
Yeah, but
Doug
then
Peterson, Doug Peterson, on the other hand, you're a little older, you have multiple opportunities, but still, you're still going to uproot people that are comfortable with comfortable jobs to go to an uncomfortable situation.
yeah, I think in terms of newer head coaches, your Mike McDaniels, your Kellen Moore and stuff, you generally don't know when this opportunity is going to come up again. And I say that because remember before we hired Brian Flores and Christian Shaw was the hot new
Yep,
thing.
straight
Where's
up.
Christian Shaw? No, and again, this is we didn't touch on the Giants and the Broncos stuff. It's something which, to me, is a separate episode in itself.
Mhm.
You can't conflate. You can conflate the two, but I want to give it justice. Someone like Eric Bieniemy, who for whatever reason can't get a head coaching job. It's always been he interviewed badly. We don't know that. It's only from what we hear from the
Yeah.
same people, I guess. But Mike McDaniel could say, you know what, I'm fine. I don't want to go to Miami. And everyone be like, yeah, it makes sense. But there's no. What if Trey Lance next year stinks out of the place,
I
and
get it.
the one game for whatever reason doesn't work, and then it's a case of, well, do you know what? We're not going to interview Mike McDaniel this year because next year, the cycle next year, are going to be all these guys. Brian,
Sean Payton came back.
Yeah,
And it might not be nine teams either.
Yeah,
It might be 3.
Ken Dorsey is the same with the Bills. Josh Allen has another great year. They want to take Ken Dorsey. Someone else from the Sean McVay tree does amazing, or it's going to be the Zach Taylor coaching tree. I know that's not a reason to not take the job, but it's funny. Again, I was on the Chris Adams show and we was talking about why Brian Flores would be silly to sit on the couch for a year, basically. And I made that exact point because next year you're up against a potential Sean Payton and all this other stuff. We had no idea what was about to come, but sometimes it's like, what's promised today might not be there tomorrow. You might not get another head coaching gig ever again. So while it's there, grab it with both hands.
And play with house money. All right, Kadeem. Hey, you awesome job today, bro. Like you killed it today. And before we go, I'm gonna leave it close to before we go into bonus time. I'm gonna leave it close to what we were just talking about. We talked about head coaches. Free agency is next month, bro. What free agent is gonna want to come here? Like, might not be no owner there. Might be a whole new front office in a year or two. You know what I'm saying? Is Mike Gesicki gonna say, yeah, I want to say, and I want to see what happens here? You know what I'm saying? Like what? Maybe Mike is more secure than an incoming free agent because he's a part of the team and he'll probably have a longer extended contract. But what about free agents like Odell's and Allen Robinson's and trading? Well, I guess trades don't matter. But like who you gonna get who would want to come here?
Yeah, it's always funny, but again, I think there will be some players who'll be like, I don't care about what you guys are doing off the field. Pay me my money. I'm not paid enough. My job is to watch the opposing quarterback to catch footballs. What you guys do upstairs has nothing to do with me. I understand it affects my life in terms of my name might be in a newspaper tomorrow because I play for that team. But for the most part, nah, miss me with that. And again, people are entitled to that. How many of these organizations, when they're going through hostile takeovers, because you spoke about the Clippers. How many Clippers players didn't move and said, you know what, the owner's gone, but like you said, my family's here. The new guys come in and said all this stuff. I'm going to play here. Listen, I will not be surprised if half the locker room says, get me out of Miami straight away. I will not be surprised if half the locker room says, this is my team. I've never liked Ross, but I want to be a part of something. We generally don't know. Same time, you offer someone an extra $5 million to come play for you, they all ignore what's happening off the field.
Oh, right. I'm just saying, if two teams are offering the same money, why would you go to Miami? You know what I'm saying?
Of course, yeah.
If it's close to the same money, even if it's only $1 million more, why would you go to Miami? So I think there's reason to be concerned, but out of our hands. Donald Sterling was the owner of the Clippers that got uprooted, and Steve Ballmer was the owner that bought the team. Shout out to Steve Ballmer. We're about to get into bonus time. It's wild. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time.
That's for
Already.
the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
I felt like there's no need for a tweet of the day. It's kind of like people kind of saying the same thing, I guess. But again, just before we head into bonus time, I saw something which made me smile. Some people don't like sources. I like sources. I understand the importance of them as a journalist. But this is from where is it? At Ballast Wolverine, Chris Ballast, the senior editor of thewolverine.com. Sources. Jim Harbaugh plans to sign with the Minnesota Vikings. We don't know if... One, we don't know if this is true. You might wake up, see this, wake up, it's true, it's happened. Is this a direct link to what's happening in Miami? I don't think so. Because from what we've kind of heard before via sources, the Dolphins were never in play, or were never making a play for Jim Harbaugh. Maybe they were just like, you know what? The whole thing about Ross not wanting to be the one to take him out of Michigan, even if he's like, I'm coming to the NFL anyway, he's like, I'm not taking you. I'll let the Vikings get the hate. I'm not doing it. Who knows? But mate, that's one potential head coach, or not potential head coach, off the list, I guess, if this source is correct.
Well, it seemed like them boys, busy and little lazy, got themselves in another Jimmy. Well, I love to see them boys getting themselves out of this one. Shout out to Bone Thugs and Harmony. I used to be a Bone Thugs fan. Jim Harbaugh got himself in a little pickle. He interviewed with Minnesota on the day of, what is it? When the recruits, when the recruits decide where they're going, right? How about this? If you're Jim Harbaugh and you said, hey, I'm going to take this Minnesota interview, you're not coming back. You're not going back to Michigan. Now, here's my thing. This could have been, I'm going to take this Minnesota interview so it will be okay for me to go to Miami. You see what I'm saying? And that's what everybody wanted to say. Oh, yeah, he's going to go to Minnesota first. So now Ross can say, I didn't take him from Michigan. I took him from Minnesota. Cool. But if you're Jim Harbaugh today, boy, I thought I was going to have a trip to Miami after this. I'm not coming to Miami, bro. Bro, if I'm a coach, I'm not going to Miami, bro. I'm going to be real with you, Kadeem. I feel you with that first-time head coach thing. You might as well play with house money. You're right. I'll do that. I would do that. Like, you won me over to that side. But if I'm established, ain't no way, bro. If I was Brian Dable, I don't know if Brian Dable, I feel like had more chances coming because that turnaround with Josh Allen is legit. Mike McDaniel, a lot of people more uncertain about Mike McDaniel than Josh Dable. I don't know, bro. I don't see it. Shout out to Brian Flores, though, because I think he put himself in a situation where there's going to be a settlement. This not going to court. You think this going to court, Kadeem? Nah, bro. NFL going to say how much? Like, how much to never coach again? You know what I'm saying? Like, because you probably put your career on the line. And what's funny is he interviewed with New Orleans today. So I wonder if the NFL is on the phone like, hey, you're going to hire Brian Flores for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all in flux anyway. Y'all 75 over the cap. You can hire him or fire him in a year or two. now the dance is, does Brian Flores take the job now? You see what I'm saying?
The interesting thing as well, though, is, and this is me in a really weird hypothetical space here. The Saints hire Brian Flores. He goes 8-9, both his first 2 seasons, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So you got 2 losing records, but, they've been up and down, still haven't found a quarterback. They've had to get rid of Ryan Ramczyk and everyone else because, cap space.
Oh, you can forget about Ryan Ramczyk coming to the Dolphins if that's the case too, but go ahead.
Yeah. The Saints, after 2 losing seasons with Brian Flores, were like, internally are like, we don't want to keep him, we want to fire him. But we've also had a situation where he'd been fired for 2 winning seasons. And look at us. And again, I'm telling you now, yeah, I'm telling you, my opinion is that teams won't want to hire him because they'll be too scared to fire him in case anything comes back on them. Even if he goes 0-16 or 0-17 2 years in a row, and the entire NFL media is going, well, you have to fire him because he hasn't won a single game. They'll be like, yeah, but how long should we keep him before it's okay? And again, there will be some old people who will be too scared to even give him a chance because they'll be too scared to fire him.
I'm be real with you. If I'm being fair, Saints gonna be trash next year anyway. They're gonna be legit trash. So he might not even win 8 games next year. And I wonder what that means. So he did the interview process just to do the interview process, and you're not gonna hire a coach coming off of 2 winning seasons, and then you're gonna say, oh nah, he had too much stuff floating around him. So if you're Brian Flores, I think you have to take the interview. I think you 100% have to take the interview because you can't say the NFL blackballed you when you had an interview on the table. So you have to take the interview. But get ready for $100 million check, Brian Flores. It's gonna happen. They're not gonna go to court. This is never gonna make it to court, bro. Never.
There's no way the NFL can go to court and potentially lose and have a judge say, yeah, we find the NFL. And this is where it gets interesting because I think the lawsuit is against the NFL, but the NFL will turn around and say, there's nothing we can do if the Giants and Broncos want to do this kind of stuff. If the Dolphins want to do that, what can we do? But I think because they come under the NFL umbrella, the NFL will be the ones that, you guys are guilty of basically being racist. And there is no way, with the money the NFL are paying for head injuries, they're going to have to pay a black head coach in 2022 or 2023 damages for racism. Are you mad? Are you mad? I've got to pay you $100 million because we're racist. Nah. Again, that's why Roger Goodell saying to the Giants, the Broncos, and Stephen Ross, get out of my league. I'm not doing this.
Bruh. I think because the Rooney Rule is in place, the NFL put the Rooney Rule in place. So that's why I think. But
again, the Rooney Rule is a sham.
That's why I feel like they could be frightened if it goes to court. Like, all right, we put the rule in place, and we can't control this. We can't. With this, just pay him. He's on the right track. It's a win-win for Brian Flores. Unfortunately, like, you don't want to go out like this. But if there's a hill you want to die on, I hope it's you looking like Scrooge McDuck laying on $100 million on the way out.
But this is a guy who has already turned down 1.6 million? No. Sorry. Yeah, 1.6 million to lose games. Dude, I don't think he cares about the money. Dude,
that's not enough, bro. That ain't enough for me to lose. I'm not getting paid, bro. My first head coaching job to lose 16 games and it's just 1.6 million. I ain't gonna lie to you, that's not enough for me, bro. Like, it's not. But $100 million to never coach again in the NFL?
I think Brian Flores is a proud black man. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
So he's not gonna take a settlement. He's gonna nah. So can you think he's gonna say, nah, I don't want the settlement. I'm going to court. That you think let's take it to trial. That you think he's gonna say that?
He genuinely could.
He's not gonna say, but Kadeem, $100 million. Like that dude in SWAT says. Nah, bro.
So I thought you were gonna go on Austin Powers.
Oh, he says that in Austin Powers?
But also like $1 trillion, whatever it is. Like,
Nah, that was from SWAT when the dude, I got $100 million for whoever get me out of here. All right, let me stop, man.
Yeah, it's very, very quickly. I've said this before on this podcast. One of the reasons why I love doing this with you is because we can have the most serious conversation, but at some point we'll start laughing and start cracking jokes. Like sometimes you just got to laugh. Is it the Kevin Hart comic stand-up? Laugh through the pain.
Laugh at my pain.
Yeah, see, sometimes you got to laugh, man. Because if not, I'll be just down in pirates going, "What is wrong with my life?"
Listen, we did not forget about the Javon Holland giveaway. We did not forget. All right, we didn't forget. We're sorry. It's coming, and to prove that it's coming, we're gonna show you what we're giving away very soon. It might not be next episode, but it might be the episode after that. So you're gonna see what the Javon Holland giveaway is, because I feel like it's lasted a couple episodes, and people might think we pulling chains, but no, legit, man. Like, and plus it's a reward for everybody who stuck with us anyway. So hopefully, if you're a loyal listener, you get the, you know what I'm saying, put your eyes on it, and we're gonna give everybody a fair shot.